Okay, so I've been a general manager since 2007, in the industry for 27 years. So I started young because I'm still young anyway. But okay, so mentoring since 2015. I think I was one of the first mentors in the first batch, and been a mentor ever since. So very enjoyable role because it helps you guide and shape people's aspirations, careers, if they remain in the industry. So thoroughly enjoying it, actually.
Nice. Chef Cheryl?
Hi, I'm Chef Cheryl, and I'm from Les Amis Restaurant, and also Tarte, a pastry shop, a French pastry shop. I've been mentoring. This is my second batch of students. I do the pastry and bakery students. I know there are not a lot of, from my experience, I think there are not a lot of pastry chefs who are in this program, because last year I got 5 students and this year I got 4. But I think very meaningful and a very fulfilling experience for me, meeting the students, getting a different perspective from them, and also then sharing what we do. We run many. I'm part of a bigger group, the Les Amis group, but each outlet runs separately like a small business. So I think for a lot of the students also, I think sharing with them that, and especially this year with I had a few 2 senior students as well, and that was a very good exchange as well, because they bring 50-60 years of experience from them. They are grandparents already, so I think they also bring a different perspective of earlier time, and I learned a lot also from the students this year.
Nice. And Chef Charles?
Hi, I'm Charles here. Okay, basically I've been mentoring for about 3 years. Every year, in actual fact, I think every program I will have some students with me. So we share a lot. I meet them almost every month. Meet up about 1 to 2 hours, chit chat. Let chat with them what is their future planning and stuff like that, so that everybody will know what they can expect when they come to the industry. Yeah. So as and when there's any events that I have, I also invite my mentees to come along. So this is one thing good about this program, that you can meet your mentors in advance, someone that you can work with in the long run. Yeah, some of my students who even graduated, that we are still in touch. So yeah, I think this mentorship program is not only for a short period. This is also something good for you guys, where in the long run you will be able to have a friend. Yeah, not so much of mentor, but more of a friend in the long run. Yeah.
Okay, maybe as a reminder to students as well, since you ended on, we are not just mentors, we are friends, right? Please feel free to share any comments, reflections, even questions in the chat. I think we have a Q&A right after, so we'll be happy to answer them, whether in the chat or even offline or right after the panel. So maybe with that, let's start our first question. So COVID has been a very tough year, obviously, for all of us. Maybe we could invite the speakers to share your reflections and challenges that during COVID, this whole 1.5 years or so. Let's start with Chef Charles.
Okay. So, basically for HonLiangYi side, it's a lot of revamp from, in the past you used to have buffets, you used to have a lot of dining out, and all of a sudden everything will have to move to online and also a la carte, which is, this is the biggest challenge. But you learn a lot from changes. I used to not be so savvy with all your handphones and stuff like that, but I'm still not but I'm a lot better than previously. So one of the biggest challenge that I faced was this. But in terms of the rest of the things are basically also challenged in terms of manpower and stuff also. But with the students coming out, we work a lot. I work a lot with students, just to let you know. Yeah, I do work a lot with students. My highest percentage of students that I have with me when I was running my operation was about 30% students from various schools. So most of them are with me during the mentorship program. So this is a shortcut for you to come into the industry also. Right? I'm sure Chef Cheryl will agree with me. Most of your mentees will be with you. Yeah. So this one way also for you. Yeah. So this, I think the rest of things is basically more to adjusting and also getting used to life with this COVID. Yeah.
Like what, if I may ask, what was the most memorable challenge or pivot that you made?
Wow, the most memorable, have to wear mask every day,
Even the operations
Yeah, when you're in operations, sometimes where a lot of chefs will tell you, when you go into a kitchen, it's so stuffy, it's so stuffy, it's so difficult to breathe, this and that. But as time goes on, everybody get used to it, Yeah, I think that was one of the major change in my life also, because yeah, as you can see, I'm not wearing my mask also. So, but I'm in an isolated area, so it's fine.
None of us are wearing masks, so don't call us out on that.
Yeah, so that is something very yeah, I think chefs will find very tough, because every now and then you need to pull down, you need to taste your food, this and that. So yeah, that's one of the key things, one of the key difference that we face. And also, yeah, I said the buffet style, the different ways of managing the business as well right now. How do you draw the crowds in and this and that? These are some of the things that even as chefs we need to think. Yeah, different kinds of promotions, different kind of running the operations, different kinds of areas to look at for businesses. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Cheryl, do you share the same challenges, or is it completely different for you?
Yes, so I think there's some overlap in the challenges as well. I agree with Chef Charles as well that then it was a very uncertain and ever-changing. Every other week, month, the government gave us maybe 2 days to react to something, or every time the announcements came out, we had. I remember, and this is not just the past year; it's been 2 years now. And the first time we did it, I think there was 2 or 3 rounds of just throwing out stuff, giving away stuff, because we were just stuck with food that we have ordered that we couldn't use because the restaurant had to close, or we had to move towards takeaways and change how we want to run the operations. So I think that was quite a challenge for us as well. Similarly, it was the uncertainty of it all. I think a lot of it, even for me, for decisions, being a leader and a manager, was thinking about the team as well a lot, both health-wise and business-wise. That means last year we were also balancing between that. Then when the whole COVID thing started and we continued to ask people to come to work because we wanted to continue the business, a lot of people were also quite afraid. So we had to then think how we want to deal with things like that. Then on the other side, as it went on for a few weeks, we also thought about the money aspect, the business, where we were trying to avoid pay cuts, and we didn't know how much the government was going to, or the landlord was going to support us. So I think that was quite a big concern and a big challenge for our team, and affecting the decisions we were making at that time. So I think it was very real and very close to us. I think everyone agreed the F&B industry has been most affected by every decision or every measure or every restriction. It had something to do with eating, restaurants, hawker centers, food. So that was whether it's even out of stock at the supermarkets and stuff like that. So I think that was the biggest part of our challenges, and then trying to adapt very quickly. Similarly, I say there were a lot of things on the pipeline where moving on to an online platform, getting a delivery done, I think that really moved really quickly last year, and I think I'm very optimistic and positive for it, because it was something that we were working on and we didn't know when, or we were procrastinating a little bit on when to launch or when to start, and COVID-19 made the decision for us that we said, okay, let's go. We need to be better online. We need to be better with our deliveries. We need to be better with our packaging on sending food and all. So I think there were positives from that experience as well.
I think COVID was known to be the biggest chief digital officer or transformation officer or something like that. That was the running joke, because that made a lot of corporates, regardless of industry, right, completely change. So what about Darren? Last one.
I think that the challenges are, as what Charles and Cheryl mentioned in general. I kind of break it down into three major categories. One is, as the general manager, you have to think of ways to keep the business afloat, because my responsibility is running the whole business and running the hotel for an owner, and then I have a responsibility for the staff from a welfare point of view, from a health, safety point of view, etc. So trying to keep the business afloat and balancing revenue, costs, etc. That was one of the challenges. Second one, as Cheryl also mentioned, I think when COVID started in the initial stage, everybody was very high on safe management measures, trying to make things contactless, hand sanitizers here and there. So running through the entire hotel to see every touch point, to see whether it complies with safety requirements was a challenge. And I think the most important was trying to calm the staff and trying to motivate them. That was the challenge, because in any time of a pandemic or a crisis, I think the first thing you worry about is your job security. And I think initially there were a lot of reports about layovers, not layovers, but staff getting retrenched, etc., etc. So I believe in most organizations, labor makes up the biggest percentage of your costs, unfortunately. So in terms of balancing revenue and cost, labor is one area where unfortunately we had to reduce. And of course, once you reduce that percentage, the remaining staff get also worried. So a lot of town hall sessions, a lot of meeting sessions, explaining the strategies behind, trying to motivate the staff to look on the bright side and really be open-minded to be redeployed. For example, salespeople had to do F&B jobs. We had to get catering people to do housekeeping jobs. So, and I think the biggest challenge was trying to induce some positivity into that air of uncertainty and negativity, which was, I think, the biggest challenge I had. So it was fun, tiring, but I think once you settle that aspect of your business, which is your people, which is your biggest asset and the most important asset, then you can get on with running the business. And I think the most important lesson I learned is about communication. If you don't communicate to the staff, then they're not aware. So it's very important to share your strategies with the staff, with your team. And it actually even not only one-sided dictatorship of strategy, but also to get them involved, right? So they need to feel part, because now you're a smaller team and everybody is very stressed and mentally fatigued. More important is the teamwork and getting everybody involved. So you increase that level of ownership, which is very important in the success of that business in times.
There's a lot of lessons learned. I mean, it's not just about like the business, the profit, the P&L, right? But even down to the motivation of staff,
yes,
keeping them safe.
Yes, which I think is the most crucial, because end of the day, you can have the best strategies, but if you don't have the people there to execute them, and in our industry, whether it's pastry, culinary, housekeeping, front office, etc., there is one constant, which is the people. Without them, none of us will be here as well.
And now looking at, I mean, we have 73 participants, incoming hospitality teammates even. I mean, with all these negativity, the struggles and challenges, do you still think it's a good idea for students to enter the industry?
Yes. Were you going to ask me first? Or?
Yeah, why?
Yes, I think okay. So I've always prided myself. Everybody in the past will always ask me why hospitality. I think it's one of those jobs where you will never actually be potentially out of a job. If you can travel and you are geographically mobile, there are positions everywhere in the world for this industry because it's a global thing. COVID hit, yes, but in any industry, there will always be down periods as well as up periods, and whatever comes down must go up. So it's just a matter of time where business will pick up. This is not the end of the world. And it's the best time to actually learn how to manage a business from a very adaptable point of view, very dynamic point of view, how to take care of your staff as a leader that one day all of us will become. So I think it's a very crucial time, and it's always to look beyond the negativity, because there will be positive times. It's just a matter of time. That's all. And sorry, one more thing. I think for those people who are starting to come into the industry, it's also good because if you have an open mind, you will have opportunities to expose yourself to different departments, right? And that then gives you a better picture of how the whole industry, whole culinary team, whole restaurant, whole hotel works. So it makes you a better person, and you start to appreciate people more in that sense. So yes, please come into the industry, please.
Chef Cheryl, your thoughts?
I was actually going to say that the pastry and baking industry is I think I had quite the opposite experience. It wasn't negative, it was overwhelmingly positive. I think right after the initial concerns, fears of health and safety for the team and all, really, I think in times of crisis, people veer towards comfort food, cherishing little luxuries, and with all the distancing, they try to I think maintaining and building their relationships and connections were very much more important. And what better way to do it than through cakes, pastries, tarts, and breads. So I think I've been asked this question this past year also, whether actually the opposite has happened, whether the pastry and baking industry has been quite saturated with a lot of home bakers, small shops opening, people starting to sell every cakes and baking and all. And I find that I take a lot of positives from that, because I think a lot more people are very interested. I'm getting a lot more students coming. I think the whole interest, this quite the opposite experience for me. This whole COVID-19 situation has actually generated a lot more interest in pastry and baking. So I think a lot more people want to be bakers, want to be pastry cooks, want to improve, want to cook professionally now, even in that. And for us, the same. I work both at the restaurant and the pastry shop. The pastry shop, after the initial part was actually scrambling to then say, how can we do more deliveries? How can we improve the packaging so that it transports better? And within the restaurant, we had to move from being a fine dining sit down place that we say, okay, we will then sell more takeaway ice creams or cakes, and those were the items that were much more popular and that people wanted. So I think in terms of work-wise, I think best time to become a pastry chef or a baker. At the moment, I think it's generated a lot of interest. I think people are a lot more interested, gaining knowledge, and so for me, I think it's quite I feel like quite the opposite. We didn't have a lot of people leave. We had a lot of people hanging on to their jobs, and that we were busier than ever, and also continually trying to find new staff to join us.
Housekeeping and front office were also quite fun, actually.
Different experience altogether.
True.
Yeah. Chef Charles, I hope everything's okay, but whether you want to answer the question of whether it's still a good idea to enter your industry.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, like what Cheryl has shared, I think from our side it's very similar. You know, at this point of time to join this industry, in actual fact, we are getting more and more people trying to come into this industry, especially with the situation going on, with all the uncertainty. I think at the end of the day, you know, food is still something that you can't do without. And with a lot of people starting to work from home and stuff like that, the pickup in the delivery business has actually been very, very strong. Yeah. So if you're talking about coming into the industry,
Some technical difficulties. Please wait a moment.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. So if you're talking about coming into the industry, I think this is a very good time to come in because of, you know, even if you, in the long run, even if you don't come into the industry, to learn culinary is something that you can do at home. Same for pastry. You can also do it at home. It doesn't have to be only industry. A lot of people are starting up their small businesses, you know, takeaway, home cooking, this and all this stuff. Yeah. So I would say this industry is very interesting at this point of time. You really see a lot of other things. Yeah.
So now so this whole panel was about looking back and moving forward, right? What's the one thing you're most excited about for your industry moving forward from 2022 onwards? Maybe Chef Charles, if all's good, you want to answer that?
Yeah, okay. So in 2022, okay, of course, we know that government is going to open up. So, you know, Chinese New Year is going to come. So you will be more busy. Right, Cheryl? Yeah, so, you know, with a lot of things that is starting to open up, like you used to be like travel and everything, I think this is, you know, the business is starting to come in, you know, and we will be looking at even stronger F&B business than the past. So it's quite, I'm looking at it from a very optimistic manner that, you know, you will do way better than the past 2 years even. Yeah.
Cheryl?
I agree. I'm equally optimistic and positive for it. I think we're coming back. I think even just this month itself, and even these few weeks, you'll see that most restaurants are fully booked. And if you want to go out, you can't find a table. And even for us, I think the restaurant and even the shop, this year we are experiencing it now as we speak. The last 2 weeks, we've just been very busy and very full. So I think it's we're coming back, and then I think it's a time that we can overcome, and that and I agree earlier when Darren said there's always sometimes up, sometimes down, and so I think this coming year would be slowly or even quickly getting back, and that I also think we come back to more, I feel more compassionate, more patient clientele and guests as well, because I think everyone has gone through some inconvenience. Everyone now knows someone who knows someone that got infected or got tested positive or had some inconvenience or were affected financially by it. So I think moving forward also, I see that a lot of customers now as well and a lot of guests are a lot more patient in terms of when we first started. I think we got just being late for a delivery was a big thing. Now people, I think we moved towards a new mindset as well. So I think I feel very positive and optimistic for this coming year.
Nice. Darren, is your 2022 looking rosy as well?
Okay, so I'll answer that. I'll address it from two different aspects. From an F&B point of view, from restaurant reservations, bookings, yes, I definitely agree with Charles and Cheryl. It's picking up, and it has continued, and I believe it will continue to pick up unless something happens, right? From an occupancy point of view, it's a bit. The light at the end of the tunnel is brighter. Used to be dim, but it's just getting brighter. And so hopefully 2022, the light will get even brighter. I mean, as more VTLs open, if everything is more or less under control, barring any outbreak of a new variant, etc., it speaks well for the global industry. So the only way forward is to remain as optimistic as possible. But like I said, F&B is doing very well. Rooms, I think rooms citywide is a bit slower pick up, but it's moving.
Moving upwards.
Yes.
Ideally. Nice. Okay. I think we are soon going to move into our Q&A. So maybe from each of you, one word of advice or one sentence of advice to our participants here. Who wants to go first?
Advice for coming into the industry?
Yes, for the students coming into the industry.
One word.
Or one sentence. I'm not going to be picky about it.
One sentence. Okay, I'll do one sentence with 3 keywords. Adaptability, patience, and have an open mind.
No, you want to elaborate or all good?
Adaptability in the sense that you're joining an industry where you're not, you have opportunities not to be stuck behind one section / department, right? You can choose to do anything you want. It's so varied. You have so many departments, so many different kinds of areas within a hotel that has to work together. Open-mindedness is you don't get stuck on one way. You're dealing with people in both internally as well as externally. So you need to really, there are many ways to achieve your success. There's no one route, and that's the beauty of the hotel industry / hospitality in general. So enjoy it. It's an enjoyable. I've been in the industry 27 years, so I still wake up and want to come to work every day. That was my.
Nice. Okay, Chef Charles, maybe.
My side, actually one word lah, enjoy. Frankly speaking, it's an enjoyable industry that you can come into. We really enjoy working together, working as a team, especially in the hotel industry. Like what Darren has shared, we basically move around to help everybody. You can see a lot more, especially during the crisis. You can see teamwork, lots of teamwork. Everybody helping each other. Even sometimes GM has to go down to do different things. Not, it's a very different time. So I would say, if once you're in the industry, enjoy. Yep.
Chef Cheryl?
I was gonna say I wrote down notes and I wrote exactly the 3 things that Darren said as well. And, but so I think I'll add that then I say to a lot of students coming in that then to the industry that have a plan as well, because I agree, I've been in this for a long time, and I'm here because I really enjoy it and I'm exactly in the position and the place that I want to be. But it's not every day waking up saying I love to come to work, and I think there are just as many days when you're really tired and you feel like giving up. So I give advice that then I think if you want to join the industry, have a plan already, know where you're going, and then so have be mentally strong that you're not going to give up, because it's the time, and that is what's going to pull you through the times when it's difficult, when it's physically tiring, when it's the long hours, when your legs ache. So I think joining the industry, the reality is standing the whole day, and it's physically and mentally quite tiring. So I think be mentally strong that you don't give up, and that you can be successful in this field.
Nice. Okay. So I think with that, we wrap up our panel discussion. I think, are there any questions? Y'all can maybe raise your hand and you can unmute yourself. So take us as your mentors for the next 1 hour or so. Happy to answer any questions on the industry, on what you've heard so far. No? I heard someone unmute themselves. You can also type in the group chat as well. Any questions? Looks like quite a quiet bunch today. I usually expected, when students have the opportunity to do it in the group chat, they would be typing, but no one would speak. Okay, I think Fang, you want to wrap up? Or shall we wait? Final call?
Okay, I have one question, okay, which was sent to me via DM. Let's see. So the question is passion sufficient for a student to, remain in the industry? So I am not sure whether this comes from the culinary or hospitality perspective, but would any one of our mentor like to answer it?
If I may, I think it's the very first criteria you need in anything you do, not only in the hospitality industry, in any industry that you go in, you need that passion. It may sound like a bit of like a cliche, but if you're happy doing something, like Cheryl said, right, you don't have 365 days of happiness, so to speak. You have good days and bad days, but your passion then should override it, right? The passion for what you want to achieve, the passion for what you want to do in any industry you choose, particularly in the hotel industry or hospitality, because you deal with people. So you must have that passion to want to take care of people. I won't say serve people. I don't think we are not servants in this industry. We're professionals, but more taking care. You take care of them from a simple thing, providing good food, good pastries, providing them a clean room, making sure the experience is good. So all that falls under the umbrella of taking care of people. So yes, passion. Without the passion, then there's no moving forward. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And I think also it relates back to Cheryl's advice, Chef Cheryl's advice, right? That you have to be mentally strong as well. Yeah.
Yes, so to answer the question whether just passion is enough, then I agree with Darren that it's the essence of it all, it's the starting point. Whether it's only running on it's enough, then I think that's the thing you can fall back on. But that might not be the only thing that you need to be able to continue to join and continue in the industry.
And I believe that besides passion, there would be many other virtues that you have to pick up as you join the industry, and that would keep you the passion. I think passion will lead you to the industry, but you would have to pick up other traits in order to stay and remain in the industry for a long time.
Oh yeah, you need one more thing. But Fang, you know what's that?
No, I don't know.
You need a mentor.
Yes.
Wow.
You need a mentor for you to, no, seriously, this mentorship program, my advice to you guys is that, join this program, because this mentorship program really gets you in touch with the seniors who are out in the industry for so many years. They can guide you through your career. Only passion, yes, is a start, but another way is by guiding. You have someone to guide you through. It's a lot easier. Let's put this across. It's a lot easier if you have someone to give you advice, walk with you along the way, to guide you through, especially when you are starting to go into your internship, because once you're out in the industry, it's totally different from school. And if you have a mentor, you will have already prep you and get you ready for the next step. Yeah.
The mentor also helps on days where you want to give up. You can speak to someone who actually understands your problem, understands what you're going through. More often than not, I find people not in the industry, they cannot comprehend the size of what actually goes on behind the scenes to prepare one dish, prepare a room, prepare a tart. It is a lot of work, so we give you an avenue to tell us your sorrows, and we understand, and we can tell you how to get out of it, and then turn that negativity into a positive thing.
Yep.
Okay, so thank you, Chef Charles and Darren, for the shout out for the mentorship program. And I thank you all the speakers and HonLiangYi. I think today's session has allowed our participants to actually have a insight to how the hospitality industry actually dealt with COVID, and I think it's an insider's view of how you, because from a customer's perspective, I mean, even if we are students, we have students who are prepared to enter the industry, they may not know what to expect, and I think our mentors today really shared with us some I would say a preview of what to expect when they enter the industry. Okay, so if you would like to have mentors like Chef Cheryl, Darren and Chef Charles, guide you as you enter the industry, you are most welcome to join the industry mentorship program, or mentoring at SHATEC, we call it. Okay, so thank you all the mentors and HonLiangYi today.